In a world of 350 billion movie podcasts, two chumps have decided that now is the time for cult movies to engage in combat. Disagreements will be had, blood may be spilled, and voiceover artists most definitely will not be paid. This is Cult Film Face-Off.
Hello and welcome to episode 59 of Cult Film Face-Off. My name is Chet Roivers. With me as usual is Nick Leonard.
The snazberries taste like snazberries.
This episode we're going to be looking at two-thirds of Roger Corman's early 80s space opera trilogy. We're going to be looking at Galaxy of Terror from 1981 and Forbidden World from 1982. Thank you, incidentally, very much to Edward Fisher and Muller Morell, who both suggested this episode's pairing.
Bring up your chairs!
But we'll start off with the first film to be released in 1981, which was Galaxy of Terror, a.k.a. Mind Warp and Infinity of Terror, directed by B.D. Clark, a.k.a. Bruce D. Clark. A deep space rescue team encounters a strange pyramid structure on a distant alien planet when the construct immediately begins turning their own personal nightmares into a reality. Galaxy of Terror, aka Mind Warp and Infinity of Terror.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate battle. Galaxy of Terror. Stranded astronauts Edward Albert and Erin Moran, trapped in a living maze of terror on a world spawned by their darkest nightmares. It's been waiting a billion years to scare you to death. Galaxy of Terror.
Okay, Galaxy of Terror. I'd never heard of this. Completely unaware of it. Had you heard of it?
Never heard of it, never seen it.
Okay.
Didn't know it existed.
Me neither. Okay, so, I mean, how did it go down? What did you think?
Well, I mean, my phasers were set to disappointing. And it was the experience was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Wow, okay. Hold on, so your phasers were set, you were anticipating disappointment?
I was anticipating a keg of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And pleasantly surprised, it wasn't a keg of shit.
Wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So the unit director on this is James Cameron, which is fucking bonkers to think 5 years later he would direct Aliens.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I like the fact that this cast was just made up of like people that were going to become like massive cult heroes, or television, basically television fodder. Sid Haig, a young Sid Haig is in this. I mean, Sid Haig, who went on to become a Rob Zombie stalwart. Robert Englund, pre-Freddy, rocking a serious chin strap beard. Joni from Happy Days. I mean, the cast. I thought the cast was a nice mix. The beginning of the film, you're introduced to the Master, who has a glaring red orb for a head. I was like, this is going to be terrible. But actually, no, it was. Do you know what I mean? This is pure exploitation. I mean, this is like lots of icky, kind of very, very cheap gore, loads of unnecessary nudity. It kind of like it was actually all right. I was kind of entertained. It was a bit it was a little bit banal. It was a little bit feeling like the storyline was from a fucking Red Dwarf, an episode of Red Dwarf, stealing their emotions using their biggest fears. Yeah, I mean, it was much better than I thought it was going to be. What did you think about it?
I thought it was unremittingly awful. When it started, I thought, the introductory scene, I thought, this is great. It feels fresh when this crew are assembled, like they're getting on board the ship ready to go on this mission. Some of them have history, some of them are old friends, some of them have like bad blood and stuff. And I was like, this is a really cool, like they didn't know they were a crew until the last minute and they were on this mission. I thought, what a great way to start a movie. And it basically begins and then it just doesn't stop. It's unremitting, it's relentless, and I wanted it to settle down. It's like a sugar rushing child, like trying to tell you a story. I was like, calm down, please. It's all a bit hectic. It's an epic. This is an epic movie of mishandled characterisation. Every character's personality changes about 5 times, and I completely lost track of who was supposed to be who. These characters are not defined. They change on a fucking whim. I understand the sci-fi trope, the Forbidden Planet thing. It's their subconscious fears are sort of manifesting themselves and all that stuff. But I don't think that's a viable excuse for how badly written it is, because the characters just ping pong from bit. I'm like, there's one scene. I'm annoyed I didn't make a note of it. There's one scene where I was watching it. I just said, I swear to God, these actors took each other's scripts home by mistake the day before, and then they're reading each other's lines, and the director didn't notice because it's so warped. Like, who's who? What are these? Who are they?
I think the proceedings are warped. Full stop. I think it's a bit of a warped film, and that's not to its detriment. I mean, I really like the fact that all of the actors are taking the material extremely seriously. right? Because if they weren't, if there was a lapse of anybody not doing these lines with conviction, or actually, I really got the feeling that they were properly fucking scared. The ones that were really scared of their fears were genuinely scared. And I thought it was very inventive that the way that people were getting people were fucking biting the dust, Sid Haig is fucking attacked by his own decapitated fucking limb, or the character. My favourite. It's just so over the top. Is the kill of Damia, which is, it's definitely the most sort of gratuitous of kills. Is that she's the character with a very ample rack, and it's like let's attack her with a humongous maggot, who then just manages to kind of just slime all of her clothes off, and then gratuitously slime over her, and then you have at least 2 sequences where either all of the crew are just ogling her when she's just covered in mucus, and then she comes back at the end upright, going, check out the cans. I thought that was quite funny.
That was the only memorable moment, I think. Aside from that, it was quite a murky, and I didn't think it was a particularly memorable film at all. This is one of those movies where I feel like it's the answer to a couple of hardcore movie trivia questions, James Cameron and stuff like that. I don't think this.
I thought the gore is nicely interspersed, so it never gets dull, and that's the biggest worry for me in watching kind of these sci-fi films. And we've done a couple before on the podcast, Battle Beyond the Stars, and what was the film that we paired it with?
Oh, Space Hunter.
Yeah, it's like, they were just, especially to Battle Beyond the Stars, it was just, there were moments where you're just in neutral and there's nothing happening. You can't say that about Galaxy of Terror. There's always shit happening. There's always action.
There's
going
always.
on.
I'd say it's more that it's non-stop incidents. This should have been called Galaxy of Incidents. It's stuff happening, sure, but I'm just like, tell
Galaxy of Mind Warp.
It's like a fucking barrage of scenes from. I don't know. But this film did not work on me. So it's perplexing as fuck, and scenes don't have any real relation to each other.
Yeah, but I just thought it was marvellously warped. I was entertained. You could even say at a push, and I say a push. There are shades of Event Horizon in this.
Oh boy.
I was entertained. I'm not hating on this film.
I just
good character actors,
but what are they? Who are they playing? Who the fuck are these people? This seemed like it was assembled.
I'm not asking much. I'm not asking much from their characters. I'm just asking them to be scared of their fears, and them to be harassed and to be to be harangued and fucking melt down because of their fears, and then turning it around at the end.
I did like how dark it was. It's a really dark film.
It's warped and dark, and there's gore in it, and it's adult. And I was like, I could see how this succeeded as a midnight movie.
I'm a little bit perplexed. I'm perplexed by the film, and I'm perplexed by its the fact that it's prevailed. Because there's a fairly nice Blu-ray out, and also they made it for shrapnel, and it doesn't look awful at all. It actually looks kind of all right, considering how much they spent on it.
Well, yeah, but I think there's some quite inventive kind of camera work on and going as well. There's tracking shots of Robert Englund running down a corridor, and I'm just going, that's done. That's done pretty damn well. I like it as kind of, it feels to me that, this is a young production crew kind of trying things out a little bit, which I think is always great.
The lack of narrative just fucking absolutely kills me. And this is kind of similar to what we were talking about a few episodes ago, the Fulci film, the Beyond. I was just kind of perplexed by it, and I was just like, if you laid the stall out in the beginning and sort of set the story up, I think I'd have been a bit more forgiving. But when you jump straight in the deep end, and it's just a bombardment of incidents. And the mishandled characterisation is fucking amazing. Characters, I'm like, hold on a minute. That's completely contradictory to how you work.
I thought they were quite straightforward characters. You've got the captain that's gone through, she's obviously had a very bad experience that they keep referencing. I thought that was quite funny. I thought that was something that definitely, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place had picked up upon, is that the captain, did you notice who she was, the captain? The captain is Laura Palmer's mum.
Yeah.
Is that they put on some pretty shoddy aging, they put some grey streaks in her hair and a little bit of trying to wrinkle her face up a little bit. But I thought every time they mentioned that incident, it would go pang on her face, and I'm just like, that's pure Garth Marenghi. I like.
Well, I think like I said, it looks good. It hides its cheapness quite well, but the sound editing is really weird. and it makes shift sort of sometimes mid-conversation. There was a couple of moments with that character where she'd be talking, and then it was like a comedy cutaway during a conversation where the music cuts. It seemed like the music was like almost held on with sellotape, and it kind of drops in and out here, and it just seems really amateurish. But I made she's talking about a tragic event, remembering, and it cuts to something. I think the music drops out, or it starts there, or something.
I enjoyed it. It felt like Garth Marenghi.
I mean, I feel like I'm giving this the benefit. Well, the benefit of the doubt's the wrong term, but I'm being as kind as I can because I just really thought this was a crap film.
No, I disagree. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I will say this though. As much as I didn't like this, if we're going to compare it to vaguely similar movies, I thought this was a better film than Alien Covenant. Definitely.
You're on crack.
No. I really didn't like this film. I didn't engage with it in any way, shape or form. It was 81 minutes long or so, and the last time I remember a film that long taking this long to watch, it felt so long, was the Pistachio Disguise movie, the Dana Carvey, Master of Disguise.
Oh, what are you talking about? Hang on a minute.
It felt like it was about 3 hours long. That's the last time I remember watching it. I was like, how is that only 81 minutes?
Heaven's Gate. I mean, I could probably name like several titles now that felt. This did not feel long to me at all.
Yeah, but
this didn't feel long because there's so much going on all the time. But I wasn't bored. I never looked at my watch
bored.
once.
I was persistently bored. But what I'm saying is when an unbelievably short film feels like it's twice as long. The last time that happened was when Master of Disguise.
Yeah, I didn't feel that at all.
I didn't like this film at all. I thought it was just a slapdash mess. What did you think of the music? Do you not remember?
I don't really recall the music.
Okay. If you'd have unleashed 5 toddlers in a music studio with massive rubber mallets and they just whacking things. I mean, it's such a disjointed,
I don't
bizarre
remember
music.
it being like an abrasive sound.
I was really like, who the fuck composed this? It's mental, the music. It sounds like a bunch of kids just whacking things with hammers. But yeah, a perplexing film. I didn't get it. I
was entertained.
I like how dark it is because it seems to hate everyone in the film.
Look, I think it's marvellously warped. I was entertained by it. It's cheap as anything, but I think it masks that extremely well. And it's a core group of characters that they're all great to watch.
The end as well. When it has a thing at the beginning with the orb head,
the master,
and this is about it being a game, and then it says you are the master now, and I'm just.
But I didn't mind it. It's completely daft as a brush, and it ended as completely daft as a brush. It didn't surprise me at all that that's how it was going to end.
Do you know what movie it reminded me of? Guy Ritchie's Revolver.
I've never seen it.
Okay, don't. But I mean, that's what it reminded me of.
But surely it can't be that bad.
What, Revolver?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the all-time worst films of all time. Don't ever watch it.
Did you hate it?
I hate Revolver.
Yeah. I've never seen it.
Don't ever see it.
Yeah.
It's not even enjoyable.
Has it got its fans?
No. Oh yes, it does.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. But it's probably like this. Maybe there's a lot of crossover there. Maybe it should have been this movie versus Revolver. But it reminded me of that, like, hey, there's meaning here. No, there isn't. What the hell's this? 2 people playing chess.
I didn't think it's finding itself for me, but I was glad that because when it began, I was like, oh no, this film's going to be like, it's going to be all like, I think they started using the beginning of it was all dialogue like the hyperdrive and all this kind of like space talk, and I was like, this is going to kill me. And no, what it does, it goes completely into nonsense B movie, over the top violence. T and A, lots of T, not so much A. It was fine. It rattled along. It wasn't too long.
Way too long.
Yeah. I just felt that it was kind of like people trying stuff out. I felt that it was trying cutaways and different camera angles and kind of like. Action. There was just a lot of action. I just don't want to be bored, and I wasn't bored.
There was a lot of incidents, and I just thought this incident doesn't have any relationship.
It was just action scenes.
That just sort of bludgeoned me. I was just like, this is boring the shit out of me. I thought it was a terrible film, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I suppose we should move on in that case to our second film,
Forbidden World.
Yeah, Forbidden World, aka Mutant, from 1982, directed by Alan Holtzman. A mutant life form created to prevent a universe-wide food shortage turns deadly in the immediate aftermath of the arrival of an elite Federation marshal who may be able to help. Forbidden World, aka Mutant.
A galactic troubleshooter summoned to the Forbidden World, held in an icy grip of fear by a weird biological mutation. Part alien, part human, all nightmare.
Divide. Reproduce.
Okay, same deal with this. I hadn't heard of this.
I'd never heard of it.
No.
Nothing about it.
So, did you watch these in quick succession?
More or less back to back. Well, like a day. A day's break.
I watched them. I think a day apart as well. And this begins, and I was like, I recognise that set. I didn't realise it's just part of a sort of pseudo trilogy. But I thought, fuck, this is the same set. They're basically,
well, is that you felt that between the two films?
Yeah.
I felt like Forbidden World started, and I was like, wait a minute, this surely is the space battle from Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Is it?
Same footage? Yeah. They reused that footage. Classic Corman shit.
So, like, I was really fearful that we're going to go round, we're going to be down a road of Battle Beyond the Stars, which really sent a shiver down my spine because I just could not tolerate that movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, okay. So we're back in that. We are in a movie which is it's a complete Aliens knockoff. It's an uber cheap Aliens knockoff. To even like having a xenomorph, which looks like terrible. A xenomorph with lots of teeth that looks like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. I'm sure I've said this before.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Proto B, who is a metamorph, is the term. Yeah, so you're introduced to Mike Colby, who has all of the chicks swooning over him, all the intergalactic hoochies are lining up for his attention, and then you're introduced to a chief of bacteriology. I was like, hang on a minute, this is fucking... Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be funny? No, it's not going to be funny. It's not going to be funny, unfortunately. And I read that, like, there is a director's cut from Alan Holtzman, who directed Battle Beyond the Stars, and it was dismissed by Corman for being too humorous in tone. And what a pity, because I'd much rather have seen something that was more humorous in tone, because this took itself extremely seriously. What did you think?
Well, I definitely would have liked more humour. I think that's, there are a few films where I don't think that's the case, but... this is how you do it, as far as I'm concerned. This is how you do it. This is how you maximise impact and use a meagre budget very, very cleverly. You take the time to introduce everyone. It stops and actually introduces characters. And you get the simple plot moving, and you orchestrate some proper conflict, and then we're off. I mean, there's a lull in the midsection, but otherwise it's a really lean, really mean film. It's the scientific mumbo-jumbo is... exactly that. It's mumbo jumbo, but it's easy to understand. Really well edited. I don't understand the subliminal...
It was completely schizophrenically edited. It was schizophrenically edited. There were sequences at the beginning where it just went jump around. Then at the end, there's a whole kind of flashback suit, and you're like, are we meant to be thinking that this was kind of a dream or something? That this is going through this guy's head?
I don't know what the subliminal... they keep subliminal images...
I found that just really detracting. It was a guy who was like going, I'm trying this out in my editing suite.
That's why it was like a shot in the dark. Again, like one of those situations where someone's trying to hope that somebody confuses this for an art film. But aside from that, I thought the music was strange as hell, but really strong. The Galaxy Terror has the rape of the giant slug thing. This has... a bizarre sex scene where other members of the crew start playing musical instruments that sort of sync up with the music.
The best thing in this movie for me was that is there's a very lengthy sex sequence where someone's playing like a
it's like a saxophone.
It's like a perspex saxophone.
Yeah, that's right. But it syncs up to the scene. I thought that was actually really fun.
That was a funny scene. But this is a film that is just so. Christ, the amount of lengthy scenes with skin on show. I mean, there's a steamy space sauna scene.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Then there is a prolonged shower sequence with two of the female characters that goes on for like 7 minutes.
I thought you loved a bit of TNA in a movie like this.
I didn't say I loved it. I was just commenting on that's what's happening.
Oh, no, but the last one, you were like, a bit of TNA.
Look, the last film was better than this film. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying.
No chance.
Right?
I mean,
I'm sorry. Mike Calby, professional troubleshooter, professional sleazeball. I'm not getting behind that guy.
Oh, I thought he was all right. At least he was a character.
Really? Well, tell me about his character. Well, Leisure Suit Larry in space. And that is the second time I've mentioned Leisure Suit Larry on the podcast.
This movie is a little bit too lacking in action to be.
There is hardly any action in it. It's far more concerned with showing you sex scenes than it is showing you action.
I think it's a fair. I mean,
where's the action in it? Tell me where the action is.
It's a bit lacking in action. That's what I said. But
that's the problem. The other film is just wall to wall action.
And it's just
when the actual creature gets to a huge size, there's 7 minutes left of the film. Mm-hmm. Before that, it's this little.
Yeah,
and it's just turning people to to piles of protein.
Yeah, I mean,
rubbish.
The final stretch is like it's anticlimax personified.
Honestly, this was
absolutely. But
night and day. The last one was very entertaining. this it was just a complete uber cheap Alien knockoff with no redeeming features, no inventive creature. There's nothing. There's no real characters in this. Tell me about the characters.
But you knew who they were and what their role was in the story.
One very promiscuous blonde female who looked like she had she had a pedigree winner on her head.
Yeah.
That's no character.
Well, no, but you know who they are and they act accordingly. The other movie, people were just doing shit. It's like the lines got jumbled up. People contradicted themselves. The characters were contradicted. I mean, like I said, there's too little action. And if you can't stomach cheap creature effects that, they wander into Ed Wood territory at certain points, don't even bother with this movie. And the anticlimactic ending, absolutely. But it's made with a bit of ingenuity, and it's brisk, and it feels brisk. The last film was brisk, and it felt like it lasted an eternity.
I think it zipped along. This felt longer to me. There's long. Honestly, the love sequence when it's kind of every character's playing a musical instrument, that was funny. The space sauna sequence, I was there just going, "Come on!" We're just having this sequence with these two characters. The dialogue was so completely banal. He's just trying to get his end away. We don't need to watch her getting up, walking around, sitting down, walking around.
Yeah, but both of these movies.
Did he show you your scars as well?
It's all about filling time.
All I want is some inventiveness, and the last film had far more inventiveness than Forbidden World, which is just using a really poorly conceived creature. The beginning is interesting because it kind of is. What's amazing is this was made the same fucking year as The Thing.
Yeah, of course. But I am much more of a stickler for demanding an actual setup of a plot.
But it's a Roger Corman film. It's a Roger Corman production.
I watched this from beginning to end, and I was entirely involved in what was happening. I was alienated completely by the other film, and I just thought this is a really good knockoff movie.
In Galaxy of Terror, everyone was taking it far more seriously. I actually felt there was a sense of danger. I didn't feel there was a sense of danger in Forbidden World.
Didn't you?
No. I didn't, because it was such a small creature. It wasn't really doing anything. There's only one sequence of tension where the two women are kind of communicating with it, and then it just decides to take them. But there's not even the taking it. No one's taking it particularly well.
No,
there's
true.
one good fucking jump scare in this movie, which really made me jump. Probably made me jump more than any other jump scare since we've been watching the podcast. And that is when the first kind of lab tech gets attacked, when they're looking and they're monitoring Proto B, and that, I absolutely did jump. But there's no kills in here, there's no gore in here, there's no action in here.
I think you can say the same about the last film.
But the last film was pure action. That's a contradiction. Mike Colby was just he was just a sleazeball.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's not the guy that you put on a ship to fucking save them. He's really not.
Yeah, I thought he was.
The other guy was so fucking wooden as well. The guy, the captain. Don't mention that. It was so wooden. It was so wooden.
In terms, I like the fact that the main, the lead, the head, the doctor, the
chief of bacteriology who gave his cancerous liver to the alien, and then he just starts being sick everywhere and then dies.
But he's so lame. He's such a good kind of
kook.
I like the fact that when something's clearly going down in the lab and he's elsewhere, and he takes an underling to one side and says, "Can you go down to the lab and check on that thing? Let me know if anything's going on there, because I'd hate to miss it." And it's like, you go, you fuck. Why the
lazy bastard?
Exactly. And I do hate the way they kept trying to fucking sell the term ding whopper. Someone calls it a ding whopper. You've written ding whopper down.
Only time that was said in a movie.
Ding whopper. Yeah. That was pretty weak. There was some nice deadpan wisecracks from that android. I wish that android was alive the whole thing. They shut it down at the beginning and then kind of come back at the end. Did you have any shit lookalikes?
No.
This is rubbish. I wasn't even going to mention this. But in one scene, the mad scientist, with the glasses.
Because he did remind me of somebody. He kept, he used somebody. It was doing my head in, because I'm like, have I seen somebody look like you in a film, or do you look like somebody?
This is lame. In one scene, in probably one shot, around the 50-minute mark, he looks a bit like Tim Burton. That's about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can probably see that. Yeah.
This is for what it is, an unbelievably fast, quickly made, cheap knockoff. The story made sense. The characters were consistent. I just thought it was a really decent. It's crap, but it's good.
Yeah, it's both these. Let's make it very clear. Both these are pretty crap, but I just think that the last one had far more ambition and it was far more inventive, and had far more action than Forbidden World.
I'll grant you that. But I would rather watch Galaxy of Terror than Forbidden World. You would not. You'd have to really pay me a lot of money.
I don't want to watch Forbidden World again. And the only reason I want to watch Forbidden World is because of the eye candy. And that is the only thing about it that was very watchable. Is the dark-haired girl who never did really many films afterwards. She was an attractive woman to watch on screen. But I didn't click with this at all. Was the last one I was just like, oh, I'm really in, like, this feels like a proper. There's so much more inventiveness with the creatures and the kills and the gore. There's hardly any bloodletting in Forbidden World. There's just kind of like big, mushy cadavers that are kind of this mushy protein.
I just thought it was done with a bit of
and I like the whole thing of like taking the crew's fears. That whole concept is like
that's old hat.
Yeah, but it wasn't old hat then.
Well, it kind of was. Forbidden World.
We're saying but that whole thing of taking its fears and fighting against your fears. I don't think it was new in 1979.
No, it wasn't new. 1981.
No, I don't think it was. It was old in 1981.
That's been a staple of sci-fi for a long time. But look,
no, I mean,
both agree that Mutants
just
the better film.
No, not at all. You're going to have to ring up Austin.
Oh God, we're going to be honest, mate.
He's never seen either of these.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Well, I'm not. No, I mean, for me, the far better film is Galaxy of Terror.
No, the better film.
No, it's not. Completely don't agree. Don't agree with you.
Okay, so
no, I mean, on any level, do I agree? I completely disagree.
How certain are you that Austin hasn't seen these?
I mean, we haven't seen either of these. There's no way he's. He's never seen either of these two. He's never heard of these two. He's going to go on title alone.
Yeah, see,
and he's going to say Galaxy of Terror is a much better title. I think I've got this one in the bag.
When you talk to him, can you use the other title?
Mind Warp versus Mutant. Or we've got Forbidden World versus Galaxy of Terror.
Hell, Galaxy of Terror and Mind Warp's a better title than both of the titles. This is unfair, but should we go to the Ostinator then? We've got no choice.
Let's get him on the blower. Let's get those horns going.
All right.
Oh shit, we got a tiebreaker.
Ostinator, it's Cult Film Face Off. We are at a stalemate and we need some adjudication in the place. We are talking about Galaxy of Terror from 1981 versus Forbidden World from 1982. Two sci-fi action films, both produced by Roger Corman. What you saying?
Yes, Cult Film Face Off. Ostinator here. My God. There is barrel scraping and there is barrel scraping. I love Roger Corman, but his films, even the best of them, don't really stand up to the test of time for today. And these two are prime examples. For me, there is a clear winner. Let me just speak first about Forbidden World. My God, I'm all for gratuitous nudity and sex scenes. However, this was almost unwatchable. And before we even talk about the creature design, obviously so influenced by Aliens, but done clearly on a budget and a shoestring. And for me, this film, Forbidden World, was the weaker of the two. So I'm going to go for Galaxy of Terror here. Lots of reasons why I preferred this. I thought the mixed bag of casting was incredible. Loved the Joni Cunningham, loved the death scenes. And obviously when you get Robert Englund in anything that isn't Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, then it's just brilliant. And especially when he's fighting himself. I think James Cameron obviously cut his teeth early on doing some of the second unit directing and production designing. However, and obviously, heavily influenced by the sort of Alien reverse face hugging. But yeah, I mean, this one for me was slightly better than Forbidden World, but both of them are terrible films and difficult to watch. Go, do yourself a favour, watch all the Alien films back to back instead of any of these. Love you lot, speak soon. Ostinator over and out.
Eliminator with the Ostinator.
You're mad, you are.
No,
you're mad. You're off your nut.
No, there's no way.
No, I watched these so closely together, and I was just like, this is like a shit Alien ripoff.
Yeah.
The other one is at least trying to be a bit inventive with these different creatures and different kills, and there was some really there's some gory shit going on. Forbidden World was just a boring, cheap, subpar Alien ripoff. And the characters were, I mean, I don't know this inconsistency of the characters. There was just no good character in Forbidden World. The guy you're meant to be rooting for, I didn't root for him. I didn't root for him.
They don't need to be good characters.
It had two fluffy dolly birds. Didn't root for either of them.
They don't need to be good characters, and you don't need to have to root for them. I'm just saying that you knew who everyone was. In a B movie, you just need to know who...
Yeah. You know everyone is.
No, you don't.
Robert Englund's a little bit kind of seedy and a little bit... Sid Haig is just like, don't let me do those crystals.
Yeah,
it's quite simple.
No, I thought it was all...
I don't think there was any form of layered characterisation across any of these films.
I'm not saying
Apart
that there
from,
was.
I'm a mad scientist who looked like Tim Burton.
In a B movie, you need to know what everyone's role is. And in the first film, it was just like... but
at least it had loads of action. At least it wasn't boring.
It was fucking
boring. At least
boring.
it wasn't boring.
There was so much action that it was boring.
No,
it's not action. I'd say there's incidents.
Thank God there was action.
Austin...
Blood will be spilt.
Austin, I just hope he knows what's up. I hope he knows what's up. All right, well, okay. Well,
I abide by his decision as always.
Okay, so do I. I just don't think I'm going to like it. But okay, well, yeah. I mean, if you're listening to this, you know what the verdict was. But if either of the two people, Edward Fisher and Mona Morell, who suggested that we do this episode, have a preference,
I would love to hear from both of those guys.
Yeah,
tell us what you're digging, and I'm imagining you're going to be saying Galaxy of Terror,
Mutant, aka Forbidden World,
Galaxy of Terror,
clearly the better
Galaxy
film,
of Terror all the way,
written.
better cast, better cast, loads of action.
Loads of action. How about a story? Tell us.
It was a story.
No.
The crew are being they're going through an absolute fucking torrid nightmare in space.
No, I'm not.
At least there was creative and inventive kills.
Yeah,
There's nothing. The kills are crap in Forbidden World.
I just thought it was better.
Bilge.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Forbidden World was the better film. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Check us out on social media, all that stuff. YouTube, all of the episodes are on there. But yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Take it easy.
Avoid Forbidden World like herpes. God bless.
Don't watch Galaxy of Terror. Watch Forbidden World. See you later.
Cult Film Face Off.